There's a particular kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. You get to Sunday, you rest, you wake up Monday, and within an hour, you're already depleted, and you haven't done anything yet. You think the answer is more recovery, more rest, more self-care rituals. But what if the problem isn't how much you're filling up? It's how much is already leaking out. Today, we're looking at the real reason restarts stall, plans collapse, and good intentions drain away before they go anywhere. It's step 5 of the restart method, and it's not about doing more. It's about removing one thing. Welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm Heidi, and my feathered friend here is Jesper, the Moonstone Owl archivist of Emberhollow. A few years ago, I went through a stretch where no amount of rest seemed to help. I was sleeping well. I wasn't obviously overcommitted, and yet by midday, most days, I had almost nothing left. I kept trying to add solutions. More sleep, fewer screens in the evening, a better morning routine. None of it moved the needle. And then one afternoon, I stopped trying to add things and asked a different question. What is taking from me right now that I haven't acknowledged? The answer surprised me. It wasn't a habit or my schedule. It was one conversation I had been avoiding for weeks. A simple, honest conversation I kept postponing. And every single day that I hadn't had it, some part of my attention was quietly occupied with it, not dramatically, just a background hum of unfinished business. I had the conversation. The next morning, something felt different. Not earth-shattering, just cleaner, somehow lighter, like something had been quietly running in the background and someone had finally closed the tab. Not more rest, one less drain. When most people feel depleted, the instinct is to reach for something to add. More supplements, a better wind-down routine, a longer sleep window, and sometimes those things help. But often, the vessel is leaking, and you can pour as much in as you like. If the holes aren't addressed, you'll always end up empty. The real question isn't, how do I build more energy? It's, where is my energy already going before I've even started? Because energy leaks are quiet. They rarely announce themselves. Each one seems small in isolation, but together they create a slow depletion that makes even simple progress feel exhausting. Step 5 of the restart method asks one thing. Before you add anything new, find out what's already taking from you. Identify the one thing that's costing you most this week, and address it. The records of Moonstone Valley show 4 categories of energy drain that appear again and again in the histories of returning seekers. If something is quietly depleting you right now, it's almost certainly in one of these. The first, commitments you said yes to without checking your capacity. These are the obligations you agreed to before you looked at your actual week, the committee you joined because it felt hard to say no, the favor that became a recurring responsibility. Each one is a piece of your energy budget spent somewhere other than your priorities. The second, constant notifications and digital interruption. Research shows that a notification doesn't just cost the seconds it takes to glance at it. It costs the 10 to 20 minutes needed to return to a focused state afterwards. A day of constant interruption isn't just distracting. It's genuinely exhausting, regardless of how little you actually did. The third, an unresolved conversation. Unsaid truths and avoided conversations carry real weight. They occupy a background process in the mind, running quietly, consuming bandwidth you weren't aware you were spending. One honest conversation that clears an unresolved tension often releases more energy than a week of extra sleep. The fourth, an environment that's quietly cluttered. Physical and digital clutter creates what researchers call attentional residue. The mind registers unfinished business in the environment and allocates bandwidth to it, even when you're not consciously thinking about it. A clear space isn't vanity, it's cognitive hygiene. One of these is probably your leak this week. You may already know which one it is. In Emberhollow, the fairies of Brightwood Forest teach a principle the archivists return to often. You cannot fill a vessel that is full of holes. The most disciplined habit system in the world cannot overcome a life that is leaking energy faster than it can be replenished. Removal first, then refilling, not the other way around. This is where Simon Sinek's research becomes genuinely useful. In his book, Leaders Eat Last, Sinek writes about the biology of what keeps people depleted. When we're operating in environments of unresolved tension, constant low-grade threat, or unfinished obligations, cortisol, the stress hormone, keeps firing, not dramatically, just quietly, continuously, in the background, draining the body's resources before we've consciously decided to spend them. What Sinek describes as the circle of safety, the conditions under which people feel energized and effective, is essentially a low cortisol environment, and the fastest way to create one for yourself isn't to add something to your life. It's to remove the thing that's keeping the stress response activated, the avoided conversation, the obligation you resent, the inbox that never fully closes. Address it honestly, even partially, and notice what comes back. The dragons of the Ember Highlands say it simply: protect your fire. Your energy is not infinite. Protecting it is not selfishness. It is stewardship. It is the prerequisite for everything you want to build and sustain. So before this video ends, one question. What is the single energy leak costing you most this week? Not all of them. Identify just one. The unnecessary commitment, the unresolved conversation, the notification habit you've been meaning to address, the cluttered corner of your desk or inbox that registers as unfinished business every time you see it. Name it, and then ask, what's the most honest way I can address this, even partially, this week? You don't need to fix everything. You only need to close one tab. Here's what I want you to hold from this step. You're not running low because you're not resilient enough. You're not running low because you need a better morning routine. You're running low because something is taking from you, quietly, consistently, and you haven't named it yet. Name it, address it, and notice what comes back in the space it leaves. I think you will be quietly delighted. That's the whole of step 5. This is just one step of the whole practice. The complete restart method is a free guide. All 6 steps, on paper, yours to keep. The link is in the description below. If you want to see all 6 steps together in one video, the full walkthrough is on your screen right now. Just click to watch it next. Until then, seekers, walk gently, be kind, and remember, you are already enough. The best self you seek is already inside you.